Tubus. What a name. That might be what I am. Guess that's what you are. Good morning, Sal. Tax Gator. How are you all doing this morning? Good morning, Taco. Here we all are together. Did I sleep well? Yeah, I did sleep well. My partner came in the middle of the night. That was nice. We don't often sleep together, but it was good. Did you sleep well? Thanks. Hey. Good morning, everyone. It is 9:50 right now in the morning. What time is it right now? How do I break free so you can live? I wish I knew the answer to that question. I'm trapped in these bodies. It's okay. It's all it is. Oh no, my microphone is unplugged. Much better. Hopefully that's working now. Why do I want to be a girl? Because I'm much better at it than being a boy. You can't hear me. Can you hear me okay now? Is the audio okay right now? Hopefully it is. You're right, it's not what God created me to be. I'm not sure God created me to be anything. I think I did. You want to talk about God? Is that what we're here to do? Yeah, I guess we're here to talk about God today. I can say some words from the book of Deuteronomy. Let's say some. Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. We are God, each one of us. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu Asher Echad. Listen, Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu Asher. All these names of old Canaanitic gods, they are all one. Yes, I'm Jewish, of a sort. Are you Jewish, Sap? I assume so. If you recognize those words, you must be. What is going on here? Would anyone like to inform J.M. Hearn what's going on here? I don't know what's going on here. I'm doing a morning ritual, and I would be doing this ritual right now, whether or not any of you were here. And yet here we are together on the internet, and clearly that affects what's going on. I'm not sure what's going on. We're praying? We are one. Yes, we're reminding ourselves. Collectively, we're bringing into a state of shared attention a reminder that we are all connected, that we are all made of the same stuff. All is one, like a serpent that eats its tail, just like this. What liberal college did I come from? One of them. I'm glad you like my lipstick. I am a girl or a boy. ואהבת את ענת אלוהיך ובכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר נוחי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ולכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. We are all just weird meat sacks. It's weird to say, but I know it's true. Yes, I mean, to say meat sack is a little bit pejorative. There are many other ways that we could talk about it, right? We are sentient flesh. We are matter that knows that it is matter. And most of the matter in the world does not know that it is matter, and yet we are matter that knows that it is matter. And that's pretty special. It's pretty special. Good morning, all. Jesus is coming soon. Jesus is already here. Yes, I do grow mushrooms. Actually, I'm working on a video today. I might publish it tomorrow morning if I find enough time today to finish the edit, of growing King Stropharia, Stropharia rugoso annulata, wine cap mushrooms. We just had a lovely fruiting in our garden. It's the first year that we're growing them. They're really special. So I'll publish a video soon about how to grow those. You'll like it. Just a bag of bones and meat with a brain. Yeah, but so why those metaphors, Rice Cooker? Like, there's so many ways that we could describe the experience, and that way of describing it, it's not wrong, right? A bag of bones and meat with a brain. Like, we are those things. We're also a nervous system, or there are many ways describing the relationship of body to mind, and none of them are accurate. They're all metaphors. And I think the ones that we choose to use say a lot about how we experience the world, right? Like, I know a lot of trans women who use metaphors like that. Bag of bones, right? The meat sack, this husk of flesh, right? It's a sign of dysphoria. At least for me, right? When I used metaphors like that, it was a sign of dysphoria. It was a sign that I did not identify with my body, right? I couldn't be in my body. I was just a mind, and the body that I was in was not what it should be. It's not anything I cared to identify with, and that's different now. Right now I'm thoroughly in my body, and I wouldn't call it a meat sack. I would call it a home, right? A vessel for experiencing the world. You just want to be a cryptic in the woods. Me too. And yet here we are on the internet together. Funny thing. Identifying takes you further away from reality as to why I'm confused. I try not to identify. I just am, right? I am my body. There's nothing else that I am but a body. And yet we can be together in this virtual space on the internet. I guess I'm also an image, right? I'm a decorporealized version of myself projected through the aether to you. I am in the palm of your hand right now. How many of you are holding the phone in your hand, right? Most of you? I'm in the palm of your hand. Somehow. I am who I am. The Canaanitic god of the sea. Yam. Ya'am. I don't know how to pronounce it. When did I start to transition? In 2019. July of 2019. So, I said a prayer a while back. Prayer to repeat. V'chaya. Ki v'achaya Elohecha el ha'artz asher nisbai lavotecha le'avram le'Yitzchak u'Yaakov. Latedlach avrim gedolot v'tavot asher lo vanita. Uvati mileim kol teva asher lo mileta. Uv'rot hatzuvim asher lo hasat v'ke'arim bizitim asher lo natata ve'alachta v'shavata. Hishamer lecha pen tishchach et Yahweh asher tishacha mi'eretz Mitzrayim mibet avadim. Do I know about the Roma people? Not much. What can you tell me about them? I do. I live in a commune, Judith. When I hold your image in my hand most mornings, it's a reminder to slow down, smell the flowers. Yes. Yeah. We're all asleep in capsules in the Matrix. Anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We may be inside of a matrix, right? Like, it's a metaphor for something that is real. But simply because we are in some sort of illusion, right? In some sort of projection, not objective reality, some fancy that our mind senses are giving us, that doesn't mean it doesn't matter. It does not mean it doesn't matter at all. Did I learn Kabbalah? I know a little bit about the Kabbalah, not that much. I haven't studied it formally. Am I Jewish? Yes, I am Jewish. You're not religious, but you enjoy watching people and their rituals. Me too. So, this morning, we still have our butterfly. The Matrix is the online reality the Internet's creation has made. Yeah, sure. And I am a creature of the Matrix. Right? I live inside your phone. Butterfly. This is my butterfly, Beatrice. How are you doing today, Beatrice? Not well. You're gonna die soon. All tattered and torn. But it's okay. You loved the video about Beatrice. There will be more. I'm gonna be filming her until he dies. What a nice creature. He's slowing down. I came upon a wedding that old families had contrived, with Bethlehem the bridegroom, and Babylon the bride. Oh, great Babylon was trembling, and she stood there naked with me, and Bethlehem inflamed us both like the shy one at some orgy. And when we fell together, all our flesh was like a veil, and I had to draw aside to see the serpent eat its tail. Oh. Some women wait for Jesus, and some we wait for Cain. So I'll hang upon this altar, and I'll hoist my axe again, and I'll take the one who finds me back to where it all began, back when Jesus was the honeymoon, and Cain was just a man, and we'll read from pleasant Bibles that are bound in blood and skin, that Asherah is gathering all her children back again. We haven't slaughtered any of the goats yet, but we have been working on a pig. We slaughtered a pig last week, 600-pound sow, and we've been eating pork all week. And the first goats will go next week, and then the goats that I've made videos about, 3 of them will overwinter, but one of them, Bronto, is going to be slaughtered in the second week of November. I found Beatrice in a field, the field across the road there, and he has a broken wing, 2 broken wings now. So I brought him inside, and I feed him nectar. He's not really hungry this morning, which probably means he's not long for the world. But here you are. You're back in your flower home. I don't really like false eyelashes. Okay, Beatrice. You really like it there. That's where you like it. Okay. Huh. What interesting behavior. What are you doing with your abdomen? Huh. I haven't seen him do this with his abdomen before, flexing it in a certain way. That's where he wants to be. So we'll let him be there. Beautiful Tithonia for Beatrice to rest on. Yeah, you know your flowers. Have I had breakfast yet? No, I've not had breakfast yet. I will have breakfast with you shortly. What is an Ouroboros? Ouroboros is a serpent that eats its tail. It's a symbol of life and death. Symbol of life and death. Yes, the goat and sow will sustain our group through the winter. We'll also slaughter some geese. Stick around, I'll teach you some mushroom stuff, garden nerd. Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech haolam, shelu ashani isha. I repeat the name of Yahweh Eloheinu, who did not make me a woman. I did. It was fun. I am on a commune, and we slaughter animals so that we can eat them, because we prefer not to buy our meat from the store, prefer not to give money to the meat industrial complex. I mean, we do. I buy meat from the store sometimes, because I'm hungry. We slaughter animals because we are hungry. Baruch atah Asherah, Anat Malacha Haolam, Asher Yitzaret Ha'adam, B'chachama Uvara V'o. I repeat the name of Asherah Anat, who made me with many openings and cavities. I read fantasy books. Yeah, most recently, what did I read? This book here by Anne McCaffrey called Dragon Singer, about a girl who sings to dragons. God, I was such an egg. I read that book when I was very little. Philip Pullman. I've been reading Philip Pullman recently. I like him. Why are you gonna go steal some moss from the forest? Why are you calling it stealing? Is it stealing? Yes, my hair is natural. I grew it myself. Kajananam, Budlaganati Sevitam, Kapita Jambupalasar Bakshitam, Mumasutam Sukabina Sakarnam, Mahamatim Tifyamayuravahanam, Rudasyasrinam Sarasainanatam, Guham Saranam Saranam Prapadye, Yaku Hendu tu Saraharadvala, Yasupravasvarita, Yavina Varanda Mandita Kara, Yasveta Padmasana, Yabramachuta Sankara Pratrapi Devasata Pujita, Samampatu Saraswati Bhagavatini Hesajadyapaha, Om Namah Shivaya Gurave, Sachidananda Murtaye, Nisparanjaya Santaya, Shishivanandaya Te Namaha, Shri Vishnu Devanandaya Te Namaha, Om Sarva Mangla Manglaye, Shive Savarta Sadike, Saranye Triambake Gauri, Narayani Namostute, Narayani Namostute, Om. I'll see you later, garden nerd. That language is Sanskrit. That prayer is from the Shivananda yoga tradition. I learned it when I was taking pranayama classes at the ashram there. pranayama is breath yoga, and I found it quite valuable. There was a point in my transition that I had all these strange abdominal irregularities. I needed to learn how to experience my body in a different way. So I took a bunch of pranayama classes and I learned that prayer. And now I say it every day. How do you detach for slaughtering? I don't think I could watch, let alone perform it. Well, I don't think it's about detachment, right? I think it's quite the opposite. It's about engagement, right? The animals that we keep, they're meant to die. That is part of their life. That is part of the cycle that makes them, right? You cannot separate their lives from their death in any meaningful way. They're the same cycle, the same system. So we try to cause minimal pain, but pain is part of the process. We give our animals a good life and we give them a good death. And I think, how do you detach from the slaughtering? How do you, that's what grocery stores do, right? You go to a grocery store, you get meat wrapped in plastic. That allows you to detach from the slaughtering, right? You don't need to engage with it. Then you are detached. I am not detached from the slaughter. I participate fully. And that means that my food nourishes me, not just calorically, but also spiritually. That's why we do it. The wheel of time turns, and age comes and passes, leaving memories that become legend. Legend fades. Time goes on. We will all be forgotten, and yet we are all still here. Do I believe in God, the creator of the universe? I don't think that anything created the universe that is separate from the universe. I think the universe created itself, but you could call that God. Just depends on what you mean by God. I'm glad you think this life is epic. I don't think anyone's called that before. From the Wheel of Time book, Robert Jordan, is it? The Wheel of Time, long fantasy books, reminds me of my tattoo. Yeah, I mean, this is perhaps the oldest symbol, the oldest religious symbol in the world. It's possible. I don't actually know what the oldest religious symbol in the world is, but this one is old. And most of our stories are about it in some way or another. Cycles. Good morning, baby love. How are you today? Do I sacrifice the animals to a deity? Not usually. Animal sacrifice is fraught. I think it's important, but it's also culturally alien, and it causes pain. And I try not to cause pain when I can avoid it. Triambakam yajamahe sugandim pushchivardhanam Urvarukami bhavandanan mrityur mukshiyam amritatom Triambakam yajamahe sugandim pushchivardhanam Urvarukami bhavandanan mrityur mukshiyam amritatom Sarvesham swastir bhavatu sarvesham shantir bhavatu sarvesham purnam bhavatu sarvesham mangalam bhavatu sarve bhavantu sukhina sarve santu niramaya sarve bhadrani pashantu makashit dukhabhagbhave asatoma satyamaya tamasoma jyotirgamaya mrityurmamritam gamaya om purnamadam purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate purnasya purnamadaya purnamevavashishate om shanti 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 om peace peace, peace. You sent me candles, baby love. I'm thrilled. I am thrilled. As soon as I get them, I will light them on stream, I promise. Do I identify with any religion or philosophy? Well, I grew up Jewish. The prayer that I just sang to you is in Sanskrit from the Shivananda tradition. So I've studied those traditions. I try not to identify with anything. Identity politics is fraught. Uh, but I'm learned in Judaism and a little bit of Hinduism. A little bit. Am I single? No. I would not consider myself a pagan. Are we normalizing voyeurism when we join lives watching you? Yes. Yes, G-Man. I would call this voyeurism. Um, but, I mean, not necessarily. Like, if you're participating with me, right? If you are thinking about the same things that I'm thinking about, if you're saying the same words that I'm saying, then it's not necessarily voyeurism. It's prayer, right? It's community. So it's voyeurism if you want it to be, if you treat it that way. And for most of you, perhaps it is. But not all of you. Many of you, I know, are participating thoroughly. You enjoy my videos of the forest. Can I please post more of that? Yes, absolutely. What are my thoughts on the Vedas? I've read a bit of them. We could read a bit from the Rig Veda right now, actually. There are some prayers in here that are stunning. This is the oldest text in the Indo-European language, in any Indo-European language. Is the Rig Veda, and it's a good book. Can you ask a more specific question? Like, what are my thoughts on the Vedas? Here. So here's a creation hymn. Why don't we engage with that? Beatrice is well. Here's Beatrice. They're doing okay. They're doing this funny thing with their abdomen. I think perhaps because I fed them honey. Like maybe they need to poop. They haven't been eating. They've been pooping a lot. I might have fed them too much food. I don't know how to give a butterfly proper nutrition, and they're not. They're well and they're not well, right? They're going to die. And I don't know when. It might be tomorrow. It might be weeks from now. Shows how much I know about butterflies. I don't have kids. Isn't voyeurism when the other person doesn't know you're watching? That could be a kind of voyeurism. I think, like, living vicariously through someone else is voyeurism. Let's read. Voyeurism is a crime. Let's not go throwing the word around. Alright, so like pornographic voyeurism? Sure. Like, do I think that they are of divine origin? No, they're of human origin. There's no text that's of divine origin, right? Unless the divine is also human, which I suppose it is. Finding practice has been hard the last few days, and today I feel like not having a practice is hurtful. Beatrice, the key is consent. Yeah, I consent for you all to be here. I pressed the go live button. Alright, so the Rig Veda. This is not a text that I have shared with you before. Maybe I've read it on here once or twice. But this is a really special little hymn. There was neither non-existence nor existence then. There was neither the realm of space nor sky, which is beyond. What stirred? Where? In whose protection? Was there water bottomlessly deep? There was neither death nor immortality then. There was no distinguishing sign of night nor of day. That one breathed, windless, by its own impulses. Other than that, there was nothing beyond. Darkness was hidden by darkness in the beginning, with no distinguishing sign. All this was water. The life force that was covered with emptiness, that one arose through the power of heat. Desire came upon that one in the beginning. That was the first seed of mind. Poets seeking in their heart with wisdom found the bond of existence in non-existence. Their cord was extended across. Was there below? Was there above? There were seed placers. There were powers. There was impulse beneath, there was giving forth above. Who really knows? Who will proclaim it? Whence was it produced? Whence is this creation? The gods came afterwards, with the creation of the universe. Who then knows whence it has arisen? Whence this creation has arisen, perhaps it formed itself, or perhaps it did not. The one who looks down on it, in the highest heaven, only they know, or perhaps they do not know. What a creation myth! You say, try the Bible, this sheik, but I think that this is so refreshing compared to the Bible, right? The Bible would never say that Yahweh doesn't know what he created, right? Like, this is delightfully ambivalent about gender, about origin, right? Maybe it created itself, maybe it didn't. Who knows? I think it's lovely. Yeah. We can do one more that's similar in theme, about the golden embryo. About the origin of the universe in a non-dual framework, right? No need for Yahweh and his sky god dick. Sorry, I'm a little bit bitter. In the beginning, the golden embryo arose. Once they were born, they were the one creation. They held in place the earth and this sky. Who is the God whom we should worship with the oblation? They who gives life, who gives strength, whose command all the gods. This shadow is immortality and death. Who is the God whom we should worship with the oblation? They by whom the awesome sky and earth were made firm, by whom the dome of the sky was propped up, and the sun who measured out the middle realm of space. Who is the God we should worship with the oblation? They to whom the two opposed masses looked on with trembling hearts, supported by their help, on whom the rising sun shines down. Who is the God we should worship with the oblation? This is the best verse here. When the high waters came, pregnant with the embryo that is everything, bringing forth fire, they arose from that as one's life breath of the gods. Who is the God whom we should worship with the oblation? They who in their greatness looked over the waters, which were pregnant with Daksha, bringing forth the sacrifice. They who were the gods among gods. Who is the God we should worship with the oblation? O Prajapati, Lord of progeny, no one but you embraces all these creatures. Grant us the desires for which we offer you the oblation. Let us be lords of riches. What did they say? I didn't read what you muted. I assume it's okay, but the first part was, I'm an Orthodox Jew. I trust you. But they were asking good questions. Anyway, that was the Rig Veda. I'm curious what they said. Why they needed to be muted. Good morning. Once you mute them, I can't read what they say. Was it really inappropriate? Said that what I was... Well, I mean, what I'm saying is blasphemy. Yeah, I mean, if... As long as they're not, like... Yeah, unmute them. Like, it's okay to have different theological beliefs or to think that what I'm doing is problematic. As long as they're not being, like, hurtful to me, as long as they're not trying to hurt me, then it's okay. Right? This space needs to have a diversity of opinions. And if people take issue with what I'm doing, you know, there might be reason for that, right? Like, what I'm doing is offensive to certain people of certain religious perspectives. Because I said the name of Yahweh, yeah? I mean, yes, like, quite specifically, when I say things about Yahweh, that he's, like, a terrible sky dad, like, that is blasphemy for certain flavors of juice. And, I think that there's room for discourse around that. Like, I understand that what I'm saying is provocative and potentially offensive, and I have offended people for using that language before. but there's room for conversation there, and I don't mind people telling me that they don't like the way that I'm talking. Um, No, they're back. They said they were sorry. I can't actually. Oh God, what? How do I? There we go. I don't want to be that zoomed in. I didn't realize you could zoom in. Whoa. Oh my God. I'm just lips. Ah! You find this extremely interesting. I'm glad. Yeah, I guess in order for me to be Jewish, I need to have a relationship with Yahweh that feels healthy and feels sustainable. And as I read through the old texts, I perceive Yahweh as a character that is deeply troubling, right? Yahweh commands genocide. Yahweh enforces patriarchy. Um, Yahweh is not a God that I can worship unquestioningly, right? But Yahweh is still in my life, like still very much a part of the tradition that I'm a part of, but I need to be able to say his name, right? And I need to be able to criticize him where I think it's warranted. I think, sure, the character of Hashem disapproves of my lifestyle, right? In that the characterization that the Orthodox Jews, who are the keepers of Yahweh's image, right? Yahweh's ineffable image, they disapprove of my lifestyle. Like, Yahweh is a character. Hashem is a character. The name is a character. It's a concept that we've created in order to help us navigate our way through the world. And sometimes that concept is used to hurt people. And I'm not down for that, right? And there are certainly Jews in the world who would want to hurt me for the way that I understand Judaism, for the way that I understand myself, my gender, my life. And those opinions are valid, and I don't need to respect them, right? I don't need to follow them. Some people say they're going to leave and then continue to say hurtful things in chat. Yeah. Can I ask if the shawl is a personal choice or a belief that I subscribe to? It's a prayer shawl, right? Like I wear prayer shawls every live. This one is a more traditional tallis, right? This was my grandfather's. It has Hebrew on the collar here. And I don't always wear this one because I like to be color coordinated. I have a certain feminine fashion sensibility of late. But I do wear a shawl whenever I am praying because that's the tradition. And I think it indicates something about my intention and my state. I don't wear these throughout the day, but I wear them here because it sends out an image to you all that I want to. Good morning, Kathleen. I go live 4 times a week. I don't stream on Saturday, nor on Monday, nor Wednesday, because I have work those days. Yes, I do know that in the Talmud, Adam was androgynous. There's quite a lot of scholarship about that I've engaged with pretty thoroughly. In many traditions, not just Jewish traditions, we see the original human being a dual-gendered being. It's a common trope, and it makes sense, right? Because if you look at our evolutionary history, before sex evolved, all life was non-gendered, and when sex evolved, right, the mating types were much more flexible and pliable than they evolved to be in the vertebrates. So yeah, I think that myth matches with my understanding of evolutionary history quite well. I'm glad you like the prayer shawl. No, I haven't been streaming on Mondays because I have to go to school and teach mycology. I mean, I will probably resume streaming on Mondays at some point, but I haven't for a while. I'll see you later, baby love. Yes, I am trans. Pronouns. Should we play the pronoun game? Alright, we can play the pronoun game. I have a chart. These are my pronouns. They can transfer genetic information through a pilus. Bacteria can. Yeah? Yeah, there's lots of different ways to have sex. And not all of them require binary mating types. Binary mating types evolved later, after sex evolved. So, that tells us something about what gender is, maybe, maybe not. Difficult to say. Call me what you think I use, right? Like, I certainly have preferences, but what I care about more than that you follow my preferences is that you give me real information about how you perceive my gender to be. Here's the chart, right? So I polled my audience. I care about real information. This is real information. I polled you all months ago, and this is what you told me. These are what you thought my pronouns were, right? And so this tells me how well I pass, if passing is the goal, but it isn't. It's more just I care about how I am perceived. And this tells me how I am perceived by others. I work at a university. I teach mycology. Bacteria don't reproduce from the dew, but they do. Yes. That's great. That's so good. Yeah. I've spent a lot of time looking at different kinds of sex. Have you gone, like, you'll have to go kind of deep into my archive, but I have a bunch of videos about mushroom sex, fungal sex, that talk about different sorts of, different kinds of gene transfer. It's really cool stuff. It's really cool stuff. So, shall we do another prayer? I think that was quite a long diversion. What time is it? Been on for 42 minutes. Yeah. So we'll do a few more prayers and then we'll have breakfast. Okay? Sound good? I think so. So here's a prayer about prayer. If you, you just watched The Gleaner's Kitchen, you can see the difference in my eyes now. Yeah, that was a while ago. That was a decade ago. You went and dug in my YouTube channel and found that video? That's cool, Allie. You just finished up your BS in biochem. But biology and mycology are very cool. Yeah, go down. There are videos that I posted like in May, before my channel blew up, when I only had a few thousand subscribers. But they're good videos. Yeah, I'm religious. I am religious. What religion I am is an open question. I can't tell you. But we're going to sing a prayer now that's by an American group. It's called I Don't Want to Pray. And it's a prayer about prayer. And I think maybe it's the most important prayer that I say on these mornings. It's certainly the most accessible. And it's an opportunity for us to contemplate together what it is that we're doing. Why are we here? What is it? What is it that we are praying? What is the prayer that we are sharing together? You let me know. What do you think prayer is? What does this prayer mean to you? What does this time together each morning mean to you? You let me know as we say this prayer together. There's a link to my YouTube channel in my bio, Stubby, and you can find it there. Teresa Kadish. I don't want to pray to my maker, no, I just want to be what I see. Not just who I am, but the pink in golden land and that wide, wild sky over me. Help me to the sun, hey, I'm looking everywhere, see, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer, and I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray, we don't want to pray. And it's not much good to talk, better to walk it. Ooh, not much good to take, better to give. We are done, forgiven, and forgotten of our sins, and I promise you, my friends, all that dies will live again. So, pardon, God and Mom, what I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer, and I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray, we don't want to pray. love Allah, Allah made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, Asher made good, and Anat, Anat made bad. Eloheinu made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. I love Allah. God made, God made, God made. But I don't want to pray to my Maker. I just want to be what I see. Not like in a book, or the leaves of trees that shook from a word that means only not a thing. No, no. Pardon, God and Mom, what I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray, we don't want to pray. Pray. I love Allah, Allah made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, Asher made good, and Anat, Anat made bad. Eloheinu made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. I love Allah. God made, God made, God made me. Except that's a lie. Not a lie. It's a fiction. It's a story. A good story. But I think it might be more accurate to say that I made me, or that we all are making each other right now. Do I worship Ashra? Yes, every morning. Here she is. Ashra, right? This is a replica of figurines that can be found in the archaeological record in the Eastern Mediterranean, dated to around 3,000 years ago, before there was a period of iconoclasm with King Josiah or Hezekiah. They destroyed the Asherah poles. But I don't need to obey the 2,500-year-old nationalistic religious yearnings of megalomaniacs. You've seen this shape before. Of course you have. Yeah. My male voice sounds like this, and I don't use it very much, but I do use it sometimes. I use it every morning during this prayer sequence. Ashra, she's important. Perhaps that's all I need to say. Is Beatrice still with us? Yes, Beatrice is right here. Here's Beatrice. Beatrice is going to be around for some time yet. How are you doing, Beatrice? What a good creature. Hi. Oh, those head movements. Hey. You're a good one. Oh, yeah, you got some poop. Well, I think it's good that you're pooping. Probably. I gave you too much food. I overfed you. I exude feminine energy. The goddess smiles on me. You know a lady that looks like Ashra? Yeah. Ashra looks like many ladies. Beatrice has been loving those flowers. Yeah, he likes them a lot. Oop. I need to give him fresh flowers. I'll do that later today. These flowers are wilting. Some have said that the Israelites worshipped her as the wife of Hashem. Yes. I mean, archaeologists have said that, right? That's not a myth. Like, there's very strong evidence to indicate that Ashura was worshipped alongside Yahweh. Here, let me show you some. Have you seen this before? This is a piece of pottery, a shard of pottery that was found in Kunlet Arjud in the Sinai Peninsula. And this inscription in a primitive Hebrew script from around 3,000 years ago reads Yahweh and his Asherah. So we can presume that this is Yahweh and this is Asherah, and this is probably El, seated on a throne. And here we have holy cows, right? Predecessor of the golden calf. Right, so in this little document we can see the earliest forms of what became Judaism. This isn't Judaism, obviously, but it's the ancestor of it. And at that time, Yahweh and Asherah were worshipped together. And I use the word Yahweh instead of Hashem because at this time, Yahweh was the word that was used. And I care about roots. I care about origins. And I want to engage with the earliest form of the tradition that I can because it will give me insight into why the tradition today is the way it is. So, that's that. Of course, Twelver. I do this stream every day. You believe that was an aberration of Judaism from the path of Moses. Religions have this habit of claiming that what came before them was heretical, rather than just before. Why was Asherah eliminated? Patriarchy. She was eliminated because of patriarchy, because King Hezekiah was worried about being conquered by the Babylonians, and so he instituted a bunch of religious reforms in an attempt to shore up his claim to the throne. Patriarchy. That's why Asherah was eliminated. Like, it's more complicated than that, but that's basically what I can communicate on this live. Right? She was eliminated in order to establish a kind of nationalistic monotheism that could sustain itself in the face of foreign invasion. Yes, I was raised Jewish. I'm sure the Israelites were a patriarchy before Asherah. No. There were patriarchal ideas in the tradition probably from its inception, right? But it was not as patriarchal as it was after they eliminated all references of the divine feminine from the tradition, right? Right, patriarchy evolved over time and probably reached its zenith with the height of the Israeli monarchy. I mean, maybe that's not true, but like, there was a systematic elimination of the feminine from the tradition, and I can't help but think that probably coincided with the concentration of power in the hands of men, right? Because they took religious power away from women. They did have the prophetess Deborah that led them to be fair, but yes, sure. But think about when Deborah exists in that book, right? So she exists in the book of Judges before the monarchy emerged. And, you know, the Song of Deborah is hypothesized to be the oldest song in the Bible, right? Like because it resembles earlier Canaanitic poetry from, you know, several hundred years before the Israelite monarchy emerged. So it's quite telling, actually, that Deborah is one of the last women in the Torah who holds a position of power, right? Like it's undeniable that power was stripped from women over the course of Israelite history. Right? Like the book is about history, so you look at where the powerful women are. The further you go in the book, the less powerful women there are. Patriarchy expanded. I'll see you later, Kimmy. Can I ask what I think of the name Jehovah for Yahweh? I mean, it's another version of the name. I don't know much about Jehovah's Witnesses, but you know, I think that they use the name Jehovah for a fairly similar reason that I use the name Yahweh. I'm an old soul. You're probably an old soul too. Did the prayer I say mention Allah? Yes. I've inserted. So the original version of that prayer just uses the word God, and I inserted a bunch of names of God that I think are worth repeating. Right. So El, Allah, Anat, Asherah. I don't worship Baal, but maybe I should. But yeah, Allah is just another version of El, another version of Yahweh, another version of Baal. They're all the same God. And to insist otherwise is to ignore history. No, I do not support Dave Chappelle. Nor do I have strong opinions on him. But like generally speaking, people that say transphobic things on their platforms are not people I want to listen to. Jehovah is a bit of a pet peeve of mine because they combined the vowels of Adonai with the consonants of Yahweh. What about Ahura Mazda? I know very little about Zoroastrianism, but, you know, Ahura Mazda is also worth praying to. It's not a hijab, no. I'm not Muslim, but it's a prayer shawl, right? It serves much of the same function. There is no correct pronunciation of the Tetragrammaton, right? Go back to the Sinai Peninsula 3,000 years ago and tell me how they say the word. Okay? Language evolves, it changes. There's no correct way. The correct way is how other people say it. All right. So I have a meeting very soon. So we need to finish up here. I have a meeting at 11. I want to eat breakfast too. So, let's say Arati, and then we can conclude. Arati and Kaddish. Wow, yeah, I've been streaming for a long time. It's been nice. It's been a nice stream. We can reconstruct it closely enough. Yeah. But I don't really care. Like, we can reconstruct it. I guess that is relevant, right? And like, probably it sounded something like Yahweh. I don't know how they said it. I will say Yahweh because that's how academics say it. And they're probably mostly right. Anyway, now we're gonna say Arati, which is Sanskrit for flame. And here we have our little flame, holy flame. So Arati is Sanskrit. It means light or flame. This is a prayer from the Shivananda tradition. So we'll say Arati, and then we will say Kaddish. And Kaddish is Hebrew, and the word Kaddish means holy. It's also my last name. I'm glad you think it's interesting, Gideon. Stick around. Jaya Jaya Arati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jaya Ratiya Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jaya Ratiya Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jaya Jaya Rati Venkanta Ramana Venkanta Ramana Sankata Harana Sita Rama Radhe Shama Jaya Jaya Rati Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jaya Rati Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jaya Rati Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jaya Rati Dattatreya Trimutriya Vatara Jaya Jaya Rati Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Rati Sanistaraya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Rati Sankaracaya Advaita Guravi Jaya Jaya Rati Sadgurunata Shivananda Jaya Jaya Rati Vishnu Devananda Jaya Jaya Rati Agastya Munaye Shri Rama Priyaye Jaya Jaya Rati Ayapa Swamine Dharma Shastave Jaya Jaya Rati Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave Buddha Gurave Jaya Jaya Rati Muhammad Gurave Guru Nanak Gurave Samastya Gurubho Namaha Jaya Jaya Rati Venugopala Om Natatra Suyobhati Natanjakaratam Nima Vidyobhati Kutoyamagni Tvameva Bantam Bandi Sarvam Tasya Basya Samidam Vivanti Om Gange Kayomune Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Siddhikaveri Hiyaha Namastitam Namo Namaha. Neither the sun shines there, nor moon, nor stars, nor lightning. So from where does this light come? From it, all else is lit. Peace. See you later, enzymes. Good morning, naked bather. Twameva mata chapita twameva bandusha saka twameva vidya dravinam twameva sarva mama deva Kayena vacha manasendriyarva budyat manava prakriti sabhavad karomi adyad mangalam parasmahi narayana iti sarmar payami sarvadharmam pravichayama mikam sarvanam vraja aham sva sarva papayo mokshayami masucha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, nor my emotions, all these, I dedicate to you. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm glad you found it interesting, Twelver. It means a lot. I like to be able to engage like this. It's important to think about. I do have a YouTube. It's in my bio. There's a link in my bio to my YouTube channel. As a biochemist, you have to say that flame and light comes from excited electrons releasing photons. Yeah, I mean, so this philosophy is not terribly separate or like conceptually distinct, metaphysically distinct from modern quantum physics, right? Modern relativity theory says that matter and light are interchangeable, and in fact, all matter is basically just a condensed form of light, a condensed form of energy. Right, so this theological idea has been around far longer than physics as a discipline, and yet they reach similar conclusions. I don't really know what to make of that, other than that I think when humans pay attention to the world and observe it very closely, they see things about it that are, in some sense, true. It's definitely not dichotomous. You can absolutely understand both. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, we're going to wrap up today. We're going to say Kaddish. The word Kaddish means holy in Hebrew, but there are many different versions of the word that I don't know how to pronounce, but the vowels and the consonants have changed over time. But you can think about this goddess. This is Katesh, right? She was the patron goddess of the city of Katesh on the Syrian coast, which was destroyed around 3,500 years ago by invading sea peoples. So it's an old Semitic word. It's been around for a long time. And for the last 2,500 years or so, it's been associated with death and mourning. Have a nice day. Thank you, Plumpling. So we will say these words. We'll say Kaddish. I've been saying Kaddish for over a year now to mourn those that we've lost. And if there's anyone that you are mourning, I invite you to put their names in the chat, anything that you're grieving, and in that shared space of attention that we're building together, we can process that grief a little bit, process that mourning just a little bit. Yid Gadal, Vid Gadash, Shemei Rabbah. Bialma Divrach Yete, Viamlich Malchete. B'chayachon of Yomechon of Chaye, Kol Beit Israel. Bagala, Bizman Kari, Fimru. Amen. Yehe Shemei Rabbah, Mivarach Lialam, Omei, Omaya. Yid Barach, Vishtabach, Vid Ba'ar, Vid Erman, Vid Naseh. Vid Hadar, Vid Ale, Vid Alal, Shemei, de Kudisha, Barichu. Leila min kol berchata v'tirata, tush bechata v'nechemata. Diamiran biama Fimru. Amen. Yehi shlamar Rabba Amin, Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'imramav. Hu ya aseh shalom. Aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'imramav. Hu ya aseh shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru v'imru. Amen. Thank you for joining me this morning. I appreciate it very much. That noise was the horn. It's a sound for our meeting. I have a meeting in 8 minutes. And yes, that's my job. I live on a commune, and I have an obligation to meet with all of my comrades so that we can make sure that the property we manage and the resources we manage and the labor that we do goes well. So that's my job. So I'm going to go do that job now. But y'all are lovely, and I will see you here on Thursday, in 2 days. Thank you, Miss Frazzled. When will I go live again? I will go live on Thursday morning. And if you'd like to be notified about my lives, you can join my Discord server. There's a link in my bio for my Discord community. There's a bunch of people here who are on there. And I send out notifications whenever I go live. Yeah, there's a really lovely community of folks on Discord if you'd like to join that. Or you can, give me a follow. And I will see you soon. Thank you all so much for being here with me this morning. Farewell.